It's the energy, it's the chemistry.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video on how do you know if the MD path is for you. I've gotten this question so many times ever since I told you guys what I wanted to do and that I'm a pre-med. Pretty much everyone has asked me, how did you know that that's what you wanted to do, and how do I know that that's what I want to do. It's a huge decision to make and a lot of people struggle with it. So I have a lot of smart subscribers. A lot of you guys are so intelligent and you guys DM me telling me how my videos have helped you, and you guys tell me like your GPAs and your MCAT scores, and it's so crazy how smart you guys are, and I'm so happy that I can help you even a little bit on your journey. So I'm going to kind of just lay out my thoughts. And you guys know I'm not somebody who takes notes and does my videos. Honestly, everything just comes from my heart, from my head. So I don't know how organized this is going to be. I'll try to leave timestamps as usual in the description box if you want to jump around to parts of the video that you're interested in. If you want to watch this on 2x speed, that's all good too. I can be like a little chipmunk, but you'll get the information a lot faster. I do that sometimes. And yes, if you want to hear my thoughts on, how to figure out if you want to be a doctor, then just keep on watching the video. I'm just going to start with like a little intro. So a doctor, a physician, a practicing physician usually just treats and cures patients. They have patients who come into their practice or clinic or hospital, wherever they work, whatever environmental setting. So they have, usually conventionally, they have patients come in with, certain concerns about their health, and then it's the doctor's responsibility to figure out a treatment plan for that patient. And usually the doctor is kind of somebody who maps out what the patient should be doing to fix that problem. So it's just like an amazing feel to be a part of. Like the work that you're doing itself, whether you're pre-med or not, just sounds awesome. So I think that's like the main appeal for everyone, but there are also other niches that you can get into with an MD degree. You could do an MD MBA and get into the more administrative side of medicine, or you could do research, maybe clinical research or some sort of research related to medical ailments, trying to find a cure, etc. So I'm like out of breath. So the education required for an MD is quite long relative to other professions. So in America, you do have to do 4 years of undergrad. Countries such as the UK and India, etc., you don't really have to go to undergrad for 4 years, but in America you do have to do conventionally undergrad for 4 years usually to fit in all your pre-med requirements, and then you have to go to medical school for another 4 years, which is 2 years of just books and education and getting the proper background, and then another 2 years for clinical rotations where you get a lot of hands-on experience. And then after that you have residency and fellowship, which varies based on the specialty you're doing. So something like neurosurgery is going to take a lot longer than if you just want to be a general practitioner. So the schooling required is definitely really long, and it is something to take into consideration if you are thinking about medicine, because it really does take a toll. If you're not passionate about it, it can wear you down. I'm saying that because I have personally seen it myself. As undergrads, I think 80% of people in the biological sciences want to become doctors, and I've seen that number dwindle down to like 20%. The further you get into your educational career in America, especially because you have those extra 4 years, the further you tend to realize that they just want to get into the workforce. That's like the main thing I've heard from people. You get just this itch that you want to go out and start earning money and you want to be independent. So I find that that's like the main thing that wears down on most people who try to be pre-med but end up choosing a different path. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with those people or that they're not determined or anything like that. I'm just saying that that is something to kind of take into consideration. If you're already in high school and you're already like not a fan of school, you just hate it, then I don't know if being a pre-med is the best path for you. I don't ever want to say that you can't do it, but I'm just saying that it's a lot of school. If you already don't like school, I don't know how you're going to handle 10 more years without changing your mindset. But along with all that schooling, there is a price tag. So the average debt for people with MD degrees ranges from $200,000 to $300,000. It also depends on what school you go to, but roughly from what I've seen, I have two brothers who go to medical school, and it's around $60,000 to $70,000 per year. and that number can even go higher or lower depending on, you know, little things. But, you know, thinking about medical school, it's better to start saving early rather than later, or, you know, just start making plans for medical school earlier rather than later if you do end up deciding to do it. So that also brings me to my next point, which is gonna be pretty cliche, but it is something I really want to stress in this video, is that if you are in medicine for the money, there is no room for you in the field. And when I say that, I mean that you do not belong in medicine if you're looking at the money and you're saying you want to be in medicine. I will say that medicine today doesn't have that huge millionaire, super rich connotation as much anymore. I mean, I'm not being ignorant and saying that they don't make good money. They do. The average like bracket is around $150,000 to up to like $600,000, $700,000. So under $50,000 for, you know, the lower end of the salary spectrum, which is for pediatricians, general practitioners, internal medicine, and then the higher end is for like neurosurgeons or orthopedic surgeons or dermatologists. So I'll put a chart up here for the latest census on this data, but if you are somebody who wants money, like you're into becoming a millionaire, that's not really the route I would suggest to take. Just like even as like personal advice, I would say that if you're, you know, that's your ambition, then I would say go into something more business related where you can, you know, invest in something like that, because I feel like there's a lot more money in that, because you end up with debt with medical school. You end up having to go to school for a long time, and if you're into making money, you're gonna get that itch that I was talking about earlier, that you want to get out there and start making money, because you don't end up making money until you're in residency, and that's also a very like, that's not how much you really want to be making if you're trying to get rich. I don't know if I put that out there right, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Also, you know, especially if you're trying to be on the higher end of the spectrum where you're earning like 600,000, 700,000, you're gonna have to go into school for a lot more. You're not gonna be making money until you're like 33, 34. So I would not go into medicine for the money, because you're not gonna have that passion to even survive, because you need a lot more than just wanting money to survive. Also, there is so much competition to be a physician in this day and age. We do have a physician shortage in America right now, so you know, physicians are kind of guaranteed job stability. I will say that for sure. It is one of the most like job stable fields out there, because people are always going to need doctors, like no matter what. Like you could go to another state and find a job. The job stability is great with being a physician. That's something that's really important to a lot of people, including myself. So for me, medicine was kind of a little bit always on the radar. I was always just intrigued by it. I would watch House in like middle school. I was somebody who just thought medicine was really cool, and that's just like any other kid though. So when it came time to like actually, you know, really figure out like in college in my freshman year, like what am I going to be taking my classes for? Like, am I doing pre-med? Like it was obviously the plan, just because I was great at science. I was just like, okay, great at science, couple options here, let me just take science classes. So as a freshman, I was taking science classes, and I started to do a lot of volunteer work and clinical work. And one of my experiences was when I went to India to see my grandfather. My grandpa was really sick. He had hydrocephalus, and he also had broken his hip, and he had diabetes. The doctors there barely visited him, even when we were there. They gave him the wrong size hip replacement, so he ended up having one leg longer than the other, so he could never walk. Just seeing the amount of work that needs to be done internationally is one of the main reasons why I want to be a doctor. I want to come out with stuff that I want to come out with research that, you know, can be more implemented over there easily. I want to contribute to something that, you know, will improve that situation. And I also ended up shadowing in an underserved area, and it was another one of those eye-opening experiences where I just kind of realized, wow, there's so much work that needs to be done. There were people coming in with like way overdue you know, exams and stuff, and it just kind of made me rethink how shitty our healthcare system is, and like how I want to fill in the gap. Also, I just really want to come out with something and do research in something that will make a difference. As I get older, I'm sure I'm going to see more things, and being a doctor just puts me in the position where I can actually help So I might have that passion and make that difference. So there was literally like no other way to do it than to start off by getting my MD degree. Yeah, that's kind of where I think, like, you guys always ask me how I have motivation to do what I do on a daily basis. It's a lot of sacrifice, and that's kind of where it all comes from my passion. Like, as cliche as it is, that's really where my drive to stay up late comes from. And for me, you know, I attend a difficult university where to get my A's, I had to spend a lot of nights just not sleeping, spend a lot of nights not talking to anyone, or spend a lot of days just not talking to anyone and just coming home and studying, eating shit sometimes, not going to the gym. Like, I sacrificed a lot. People who look at me and say, why would you want to do something that makes you sacrifice so much? Because those sacrifices don't top my desire to be a physician. So for me, my priority list, I will sacrifice everything for my number one priority, and all these things that I'm sacrificing fall under my desire to be a doctor. So the gym, I can give it up. I can be a fat doctor, you know? So that made no sense, but okay, I think we're done here. So I would say, if you are struggling to figure out if medicine is right for you, I would say expose yourself to a lot of environments, like a lot of different things regarding medicine. So shadow doctors and volunteer in clinics and stuff like that. And if you really still feel like you're not getting you're not getting that passion to sacrifice so much, or you're not getting that passion that I'm talking about, then I would say explore other careers. I've cried so much in these almost 4 years of undergrad for physics, for stuff like that, where I've just been so frustrated and said I gave it my everything. I don't know why this isn't working. It takes passion to kind of revive your soul. I don't know if I answered all of the questions that you guys wanted me to answer. Definitely leave questions down below in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. And also, just a quick announcement for those of you who stayed until the end. I don't think I'll be uploading a video between now and the beginning of Christmas. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's gonna be me daily uploading for at least 7 days leading up to Christmas. So I believe it's gonna start around like December 15th. And it's going to be like 7 to 10 days of daily uploads. So I will probably see you guys starting then. You can totally bombard me with suggestions for videos down below. I have some ideas, but because I'm going to be uploading so often, I'm probably going to need a lot. So definitely thumbs up a comment if you like a specific video idea, so I know what to film. And yeah, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.